stop waiting. Stop waiting on someone else to tell you go. Stop waiting to feel ready. Imperfect action is always the best action to take. And stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to truly validate you. You know who you are. You know you're built for this. Can we do it?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Influential Women, where we empower, connect, and inspire women who are leading, creating, and redefining what is possible. I'm your host, Jody O'Brien, and today we are joined by Dr. Jarrett Manning. Welcome, Dr. Jarrett.
Hey, Jody. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We're so glad to have you. So you're a dentist, a natural hair and style maven, a business and relationship coach, and you're a 3-time best-selling author. You've built a platform on something that goes far deeper than teeth. It's about confidence, wellness, and creating opportunity for women and girls. So we're so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So as the founder of a company that's based on scientifically backed natural hair care and the founder of Beyond Her Smile, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to building up women with confidence and exposure to STEAM careers for all kinds of girls, you wear so many hats. So how did you land on becoming a dentist in the first place, and what made you realize that you wanted more?
You know, I landed on becoming a dentist because I really wanted a career that, combined precision, service, and science. Of course, at the core was science. I've just always kind of been wired to build, but I also wanted stability. I think with dentistry, there's definitely stability. And dentistry is like the true intersection of healthcare and entrepreneurship and impact. So that is kind of what led me to dentistry. I didn't really fully realize like dentistry is it's not just clinical, it really is business. And I really had a rude awakening when I started my own practice that it is truly about business. And like I said, I realized that when I opened my practice, and I understood that it just wasn't about being a doctor. It was about leading and decision making, and it really is about a brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I know that you have such a passion for empowering women and young girls to feel confident,
Mhm.
capable, and seen. And with dental, there's so much of a connection, and you know this firsthand between our oral health and our overall wellness. So, how did that
Mhm.
knowledge, that perspective really shape the way that you approach your other work, whether it's creating products or mentoring girls?
Practicing dentistry just kind of gives me a front row to how things are connected. It is not just about the mouth. I don't just fix teeth. It is about total body health and oral health. There are connections with heart disease, cardiovascular health, pregnancy, outcomes, and inflammation. So it's really systemic. So in that sense, you really can't think small. And it really is one thing that led me to thinking big. In my practice, like I said, we just don't fix teeth, and we educate. We talk about the bigger things and the connectivity between it all. And that perspective has really shaped everything that I do. I create products. I think about wellness, right? In the office is wellness, and in hair care, it's about wellness and science. And when we mentor young girls through Beyond Her Smile, it really is about them thriving and incorporating wellness at its core.
It's so fascinating to think about representation and how
Mm,
you're being that representation for girls of color who maybe don't even ever see anyone in your kind
yeah.
of role with this platform. So, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, how powerful is that for you? And what was
Mm.
your journey like growing up?
Yeah, representation is so powerful, especially for girls of color. And you cannot aspire to really what you've never seen. I didn't have it growing up, but I will tell you, a group of women took me under their wings when I was around 13. And that is really what the catalyst for Beyond Her Smile was all about. What was the thing that changed the trajectory for me? And when you see a Black dentist in an office, leading an office, not just assisting or observing, but seeing them own and deciding and building. I think for a little girl to see that, something shifts. It expands imagination, right? It makes success tangible. And no, I didn't have a dentist, but I had a group of women, Black women, that were leaders in the community, very powerful, very forward. And I think, to me, that is why mentoring matters. It is why exposure matters. And it's why, like I said, I built Beyond Her Smile, because the talent is everywhere, but the access isn't, right? And so when girls see someone who look like them, who are doing amazing things, it really kind of shortens the distance, and they become impressed, and they start to say, that could be me. And so that's why representation is truly, truly powerful for me.
I mean, that's what happened with me, right? You walk inside,
Yeah.
you see the news and you see these news anchors and you see how
Mm,
friendly and sweet and warm and kind, and then they're out, you know, making waves and doing their
yes.
thing. And I watched that from afar. I came from a home maybe that wasn't as stable as it could have
Mhm.
been. And
Yep.
then watching that every night, that consistent presence, in my home, I
That is
thought,
it.
well, I could do that. So I very much resonate with what you're talking about, and I think it's great. Tell
Yeah.
me about Honey Envy, though, because this is not a celebrity
Hmm.
endorsed company. I mean, this is scientifically backed hair care. What made
Yeah.
you decide to partner with them?
Yeah. With Honey Envy, I was very intentional. And it's also about having multiple passions. I think we can't box ourselves, right? So you can't put yourself in a box. I didn't only want to be a dentist. And yes, I could have partnered with a celebrity, but I feel like, trends fade, but science really doesn't. And as a doctor, I think my name means something. My reputation means something. And I wasn't going to attach myself to anything that wasn't formulated with integrity. Hair is still health. Your scalp is health. Absorption is real, and ingredients truly do matter. So it had to be doctor backed. It had to be thoughtfully formulated. It had to be rooted in research, not just marketing, and rooted in love. Right? I'm not interested in building something that spikes quickly. I'm built for longevity. Like dentistry, I've been in dentistry for like 20 years, and I think that is a long time. And honestly, women deserve better than just trends, something that is driven by trends. And I think they deserve quality, they deserve transparency and true results. And so for me, it wasn't about endorsements, it was about ownership and credibility. And just really, creating something that could stand on its own. And that was something that wasn't negotiable for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Beyond Her Smile, such a powerful phrase, such a powerful name, not just
Yeah.
about dental health, it touches every area of these girls' lives. So,
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
inspired you to start this organization? And then, why did you make a point to introduce girls to dentistry and STEM careers through it?
Yeah, Beyond Her Smile was really something that I experienced firsthand. Like I mentioned earlier, as a little girl, I was exposed to a group of women that really were truly impactful. So I wanted to be the same for someone else or other girls. Because I think that is a pivotal age, 13. That is where a lot of things are happening. You're transforming. And early exposure is always key. And as a young girl, I was interested in science, and I didn't see many women who looked like me in dentistry. And so I definitely wanted to be a representative, someone who owned a practice and built businesses. So I understood like early on that talent isn't the issue. There are a lot of talented girls out there, but exposure is the issue. And the name is intentional. It's not just about dental health, it's about living beyond the smile, confidence and access and education and ambition. We know a smile can open doors, but what happens after those doors are open is what matters most. And that's where mentorship comes in. I started Beyond Her Smile to create the visibility into dentistry and STEM fields, and to give girls access to rooms and careers and conversations that they may not otherwise experience.
Okay, so let's talk about how you do it all because I'm curious. You run
Yeah.
a nonprofit, you have a product company, you are a dentist full time. How in the world do you balance everything? And then how do you stay grounded?
Oh, I don't like that word.
Is there
I
such
like building.
thing?
Yeah, it's not right, and I used to get caught up in that. I'm more about building structure, right? Balance to me sounds emotional, and it can lead you to become overwhelmed. But I think structure is more strategic. I can't do this by myself. Let me just say, I have teams. Sometimes teams come in the form of family members, right? Sometimes teams come in the form of just my teams in the office. Each entity that I have, it's been about creating systems and leadership and clear expectations about what's going on. I don't try to personally carry everything. I can't because I actually realized one day that I do too much sometimes. So it's really about building teams and building trust within those teams and me trusting them to take the lead and not micromanaging. Every lane that I'm aligned with, I think is impactful. Health, confidence, and access. Even when it's full, it's not chaotic because it's about being intentional and being strategic. So I think if you go the other way or try the other route of balance, I think it can create chaos because it can become overwhelming. And spirituality, I try my best to stay anchored. And when I get exhausted, right, I take a break and I just move on. I just realize understanding capacity and understanding that it is truly a gift, but a stewardship is the responsibility. And if I'm exhausted or overwhelmed, then I can't be that steward for others. And so I try to focus on infrastructure as opposed to balance.
That's really good. Good advice there.
Yeah.
So, what do you do personally that keeps you grounded? Like on a, Thursday night when you've just about
Uh,
had it, what's your favorite thing to do?
oh gosh. My favorite thing is family and shopping, and I am a foodie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Atlanta has amazing restaurants. And so I like to go out and spend time with my family and friends and quality time with my husband. We have date night every week. I have a 15-year-old daughter who keeps me grounded and
Oh,
also
no.
keeps me on my toes. So somewhere along the way, like she is a lot of what I wanted to be growing up. She doesn't miss words. She says exactly how she feels, but she's a nurturer and she inspires me.
How did we get these girls? I have a 14-year-old.
Oh God, so you
Yeah.
understand.
I totally
You
get it.
understand.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, I look at mine and I'm sure you look at yours and we think, man, how did we do this? I mean, these are strong, confident women
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
going to be doubly as effective as we are.
Oh
And
God, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And just daily, I think, have we given her the example that she needs? Sometimes I'm
Uh-huh.
super stressed. Sometimes, I don't handle my stress well. And I hope
Uh-huh.
that she learns from that. And there's a lot of days
That's
where I'm
it.
like, how's she so calm? Okay, well, I guess we gave
Yeah.
her a tool.
Yeah. We
So
did something right.
we did. Well, I guess one question I have for you, I think about this
Hmm.
often too, is at the end of my life, I wanna know that I did something
Hmm.
powerful and touched people's lives, but for me, it's about I just wanna make sure that there's that kindness there, that people remember the kindness.
Mm.
For you, what
Yeah.
is it that you want people to remember you for?
I just want to be impactful. I don't want the things that I do to be transactional. I want to be inspirational. I want to be impactful. I want, especially women, to really walk away from anything that I've built. And I want them to feel more informed, more confident, and more equipped with the tools that they need to be successful. In my practice, it's really about understanding health and I I don't want them just to come in and receive treatment. I want them to understand what's going on with their bodies. With honey envy, I want them to understand that this is a haircut line that they're really trusting and using and feeling confident and empowered. We know how important and impactful hair is. I mean, just think about a situation when a woman walks in the room and they have like the best outfit on and they have the best hair. I mean, their presence speaks volumes without them even saying anything. And really, with Beyond Her Smile, it really means, I want to expand a girl's imagination. So I just want to be impactful
Mhm.
because I want them to just be bigger than where they are now. And I want a young girls with Beyond Her Smile, I want her path to really be clear. So it's really about impact and legacy. I don't want it to be just about me building businesses. I want it to be more about building belief.
Well, we talked about influence, and it's
Hmm.
exciting to think about the number of girls, lives that you've had an impact on. So, can you tell me a story about a time where you were like, okay, that was a moment, and that was an impactful moment, not just for you, but for her, and how it became something so much bigger, how you shaped, that moment. Can you tell us about that?
I think the realization kind of grew over time, but I will mention that I did an article for Forbes and it was just talking about my journey. And this is why I would say you never know who's looking or who's watching. And because of that article, the Today Show reached out and they came in the office. And I usually do a lot of things with Beyond Her Smile during the summers because that's when girls are off. And so they came in the office to feature us. And little old me, just me doing what I love to do and I'm passionate about. And I think that really the light bulb went off when the Today Show came in to feature the nonprofit and really show what it is truly about. Noticing us that we were impacting young girls and especially young girls of color. They were not just coming in to the office to see what's going on. It just let me know that people were watching and they were asking questions about Beyond Our Smile and really curious about what we're doing. So when I realized that the success is not just mine. It's visibility, it's responsibility. And to me, that is something that shifted everything for me. On those days that I'm worn or beat down because I've had a long day at work or I've had a challenging case, that is something that shifted everything for me. And it just made me realize that I have to keep going because it's not just about me. Success is not just about revenue or recognition. It's about again, it's about representation and helping others to grow beyond where they are.
I love that. I'm sad that I
Yeah,
missed the story on the Today Show. I love the Today Show,
yeah,
so I'll have to go find it.
yes,
Can you
yes.
tell me about a a young woman who you can point to and say that was a story? That was a day that, you really felt like she got it, or a moment where it was an aha moment for you with, a mentee.
Yeah, when I initially started my dental practice, it was a patient that came in and he brought his daughter. First of all, it was a dad, and he brought his daughter in, and she was 5 years old. And he said she had been seeing me on social media and she wanted to meet me. So he took the time to bring her to the appointment. And just the look in her eyes when she saw me made it so much clearer for me. At 5 years old, you don't really have that vast vocabulary, but to see how she looked at me spoke volumes. And it really made me realize that if I can only reach one girl
Mhm.
and mentor one girl and launch one program or one product and create one opportunity to define what mentorship truly, truly means, that was it for me. And
Mhm.
it was so important that she came in. This is just not, it's not for building, applause. It's really to, like I said, create impact. And to me, that is what it's all about. The moments that that are unsuspecting. I didn't expect her to come in and she just was in such awe of what she saw. And so
Mm.
I just know now that, or I knew then that it really is about bringing impact and being bigger and better for others to realize that things can be done.
I know that hair is a big deal in the
Hmm.
African American community. So, can you
Yeah.
tell me about a story of a girl who's come in, who's experienced the product, and maybe the confidence that she's received from that?
Yeah. So when I created Honey Envy, it was around the same time that I was on a reality TV show. And so a lot of people were in my DMs like, what do you do to your hair? What products do you use? What helps you? There were women coming into my office realizing that, once they tried the product, they realized the integrity behind the brand and the importance of the product. When we first started, we would do shows and we would go into these conventions and connect with women face to face. Some of the women who actually have used the products. And I'll say one thing that connects us as women, like I mentioned earlier, is hair. But more importantly, the things that we've gone through in the African American community as it pertains to hair. I know every woman can talk about how they got ready for Sunday service and how a pressing comb was a part of that, and how everything that we have built surrounds moments of hair. And some of that, there's some PTSD behind it because you have moments where we incorporated chemicals in our hair, chemicals that were not great for us, that were very harmful. And so it's in the community, it's always when you know better, you should do better moments. And so there's an evolution to hair. And so seeing women come in and discuss the evolution and how they've truly evolved to embrace their hair. Because the way I was brought up, there were moments that I did not love myself because my hair wasn't at its best. And so creating those moments and understanding how we've created this product to help women just love themselves again, and to see women come in to these shows and hit me up in my DMs to discuss how this product has really transformed them to love themselves, not only about hair, but really to love and appreciate themselves more. Because I do truly believe that when we love what's on the top of our head, the crown, because sometimes it can be our glory. When we learn what's there, then it helps us to appreciate and love on ourselves even more.
Mm, that's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, I know you don't need celebrity, but I'm about to dial up Michelle Obama because we know that she needs to know about this product.
Yes,
You know it.
Michelle. Yes, First Lady. Let's have her know
Michelle,
about the product. Yes,
is she
absolutely.
listening?
Are you
I
out
just
there?
I just saw the greatest interview with her the other day just about,
Mhm.
her hair journey and how she felt
Mm,
going into the White House and how she felt leaving the White House, and
mm.
I just thought it was so powerful. So,
Yeah,
that's
she's a
awesome.
dynamic woman. Yeah.
Well, it's been such an honor to talk to you today. Obviously,
Yes.
you are literally building like health and confidence, opportunity
Hmm.
across everything that you do. And for the women listening right now who feel
Yeah.
called to do more, to be
Right.
more, to build something, mentor someone, create that impact, what is the one thing that you would want them to hear today?
Yeah. To the women listening that are questioning where they are and who they are, I would say, stop waiting. Stop waiting on someone else to tell you go. Stop waiting to feel ready. Imperfect action is always the best action to take. And stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to truly validate you. You know who you are. You know you're built for this. I think excellence is something. I want women to really master their craft. Competence is what builds confidence, and there's really no other way around it. Don't water yourself down. Don't confuse being agreeable with being effective. Now is the time.
That's so good. Don't
Yeah,
water yourself down.
yeah,
I'm going to put
yeah.
that on my wall. That is so good. Because a lot of people, I mean, they'll say you're a lot. Maybe they don't say
Yes,
it, but maybe they're
yes.
thinking. And there's a temptation to water yourself down and make yourself
Mhm.
agreeable and quiet. And that's something super powerful, especially to tell people who are entrepreneurs and who maybe don't even know what the dream is yet, but there's
Yeah,
something sneaking back there that's passionate. So
yes,
I
yeah,
appreciate that advice today.
yeah.
Well,
I'll leave with this. Like my daughter, when she was 9, had a moment. It was a teachable moment for me. She was on the cheer squad, and I think it was her coach wanted to have a meeting. And one of the things that the coach said was, "Well, your daughter's intimidating the other girls." And I said, "Listen, that is not about my daughter. I've taught her to stand on her own, to protect her name, be disciplined, and of course, always be respectful. But what you're saying to me is truly not about her being intimidated. She is strong and confident in who she is. And I think that is something as women, grown women, we absolutely have to be. We have to stand on protecting our name, our reputation when we enter rooms and be confident in that. So we got to be disciplined. We got to be strategic and we just have to be undeniable. Yeah.
Well, remind her today that was a them problem, not a you
Yeah,
problem.
absolutely.
I heard that
Yes.
the other day. In fact, I think it was on one of our interviews. Someone
Yeah.
said, our School of Rock president said,
Oh,
no,
wow.
that is a them problem. I had to
Absolutely.
realize that. So
Absolutely.
wonderful, wonderful talk today. If you're
Yes.
out there and you have enjoyed this episode, Dr. Jarrett and I would love for you to subscribe, leave a review, a comment, share it with a woman who inspires you. Every story shared, of course, strengthens the visibility of women
Mhm.
everywhere. And that's exactly what this community is all about. So until next time, I'm Jody O'Brien, and this was Influential Women. Keep showing up, keep growing, and keep leading courageously. Thank you, Dr. Jarrett.
Thank you.
Can we do it better?